Let's learn English conversation.
At last the bus stopped. At last the bus stopped. At last the bus stopped. You can take either road. You can take either road. You can take either road. Remember to mail the letter. Remember to mail the letter. Remember to mail the letter. I agree with your opinion. I agree with your opinion. I agree with your opinion. My hobby is playing golf. My hobby is playing golf. My hobby is playing golf. I have just arrived here. I have just arrived here. I have just arrived here. Never was she so frightened. Never was she so frightened. Never was she so frightened. He is about your age. He is about your age. He is about your age. Helen, this is my cousin. Helen, this is my cousin. Helen, this is my cousin. They are indifferent to politics. They are indifferent to politics. They are indifferent to politics. I can hardly work now. I can hardly work now. I can hardly work now. What does this word mean? What does this word mean? What does this word mean? He didn't answer my question. He didn't answer my question. He didn't answer my question. We must allow his bravery. We must allow his bravery. We must allow his bravery. Many hands make light work. Many hands make light work. Many hands make light work. His work is in engineering. His work is in engineering. His work is in engineering. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. This wasn't cheap, was it? This wasn't cheap, was it? This wasn't cheap, was it? Everybody washed in the kitchen. Everybody washed in the kitchen. Everybody washed in the kitchen. I have some English books. I have some English books. I have some English books. My hobby is collecting stamps. My hobby is collecting stamps. My hobby is collecting stamps. His English is quite good. His English is quite good. His English is quite good. I do not feel sad. I do not feel sad. I do not feel sad. Her voice carries very well. Her voice carries very well. Her voice carries very well. Spanish is her mother tongue. Spanish is her mother tongue. Spanish is her mother tongue. He is a good swimmer. He is a good swimmer. He is a good swimmer. Need we wait for her? Need we wait for her? Need we wait for her? These fields produce fine crops. These fields produce fine crops. These fields produce fine crops. I may indeed be wrong. I may indeed be wrong. I may indeed be wrong. Truth needs not many words. Truth needs not many words. Truth needs not many words. It may rain this afternoon. It may rain this afternoon. It may rain this afternoon. We are longing for peace. We are longing for peace. We are longing for peace. Tom is an electrical engineer. Tom is an electrical engineer. Tom is an electrical engineer. Health means everything to me. Health means everything to me. Health means everything to me. That animal feeds on flesh. That animal feeds on flesh. That animal feeds on flesh. Don't leave the water running. Don't leave the water running. Don't leave the water running. Both the boys shouted out. Both the boys shouted out. Both the boys shouted out. Don't cut down those trees. Don't cut down those trees. Don't cut down those trees. I am disgusted with him. I am disgusted with him. I am disgusted with him. He was my dear friend. He was my dear friend. He was my dear friend. What are you getting at? What are you getting at? What are you getting at? She is down with influenza. She is down with influenza. She is down with influenza. It is just an act. It is just an act. It is just an act. The fog is getting thicker. The fog is getting thicker. The fog is getting thicker. You make an effort to. You make an effort to. You make an effort to. Did you enjoy your holiday? Did you enjoy your holiday? Did you enjoy your holiday? The situation is growing serious. The situation is growing serious. The situation is growing serious. It is frightening beyond description. It is frightening beyond description. It is frightening beyond description. Mr. Tanaka appears very rich. Mr. Tanaka appears very rich. Mr. Tanaka appears very rich. This must be his umbrella. This must be his umbrella. This must be his umbrella. She sued him for damages. She sued him for damages. She sued him for damages. You will miss the train. You will miss the train. You will miss the train. The peasants were planting rice. The peasants were planting rice. The peasants were planting rice. The task was total agony. The task was total agony. The task was total agony. We are under his command. We are under his command. We are under his command. The house has been sold. The house has been sold. The house has been sold. I am talking with Tom. I am talking with Tom. I am talking with Tom. Those clothes suit you well. Those clothes suit you well. Those clothes suit you well. Tom and I are friends. Tom and I are friends. Tom and I are friends. Let the paper be signed. Let the paper be signed. Let the paper be signed. One should do one's duty. One should do one's duty. One should do one's duty. We are brother and sister. We are brother and sister. We are brother and sister. They live in a mansion. They live in a mansion. They live in a mansion. I was looking at her. I was looking at her. I was looking at her. She may spill the beans. She may spill the beans. She may spill the beans. Don't read in this room. Don't read in this room. Don't read in this room. Justice is expressed through actions. Justice is expressed through actions. Justice is expressed through actions. Choose any flowers you like. Choose any flowers you like. Choose any flowers you like. He bothered her with questions. He bothered her with questions. He bothered her with questions. Don't insult me in company. Don't insult me in company. Don't insult me in company. I'm looking for a sweater. I'm looking for a sweater. I'm looking for a sweater. Hold on to the rope. Hold on to the rope. Hold on to the rope. Don't tell father about this. Don't tell father about this. Don't tell father about this. Letters are delivered every day. Letters are delivered every day. Letters are delivered every day. I do hope you'll succeed. I do hope you'll succeed. I do hope you'll succeed. Please make way for him. Please make way for him. Please make way for him. Have you finished packing yet? Have you finished packing yet? Have you finished packing yet? Is she a computer programmer? Is she a computer programmer? Is she a computer programmer? Their team's name is ABC. Their team's name is ABC. Their team's name is ABC. I had my watch repaired. I had my watch repaired. I had my watch repaired. I greatly appreciate your advice. I greatly appreciate your advice. I greatly appreciate your advice. Where is your mother, boy? Where is your mother, boy? Where is your mother, boy? I want to go swimming. I want to go swimming. I want to go swimming. Bring me today's paper, please. Bring me today's paper, please. Bring me today's paper, please. Rats leave a sinking ship. Rats leave a sinking ship. Rats leave a sinking ship. He showed me his album. He showed me his album. He showed me his album. The meeting is all over. The meeting is all over. The meeting is all over. You should obey your parents. You should obey your parents. You should obey your parents. It has too many disadvantages. It has too many disadvantages. It has too many disadvantages. Let me have a try. Let me have a try. Let me have a try. He drew a deep breath. He drew a deep breath. He drew a deep breath. She was mad with anger. She was mad with anger. She was mad with anger. I might flunk the course. I might flunk the course. I might flunk the course. I am a stranger here. I am a stranger here. I am a stranger here. She is now on vacation. She is now on vacation. She is now on vacation. Does he have any children? Does he have any children? Does he have any children? They work in the fields. They work in the fields. They work in the fields. He lived to be 90. He lived to be 90. He lived to be 90. We're confident of our victory. We're confident of our victory. We're confident of our victory. Please make yourself at home. Please make yourself at home. Please make yourself at home. His story cannot be true. His story cannot be true. His story cannot be true. This will be his car. This will be his car. This will be his car. They made a stubborn resistance. They made a stubborn resistance. They made a stubborn resistance. I always keep my promises. I always keep my promises. I always keep my promises. Ms. Smith was appointed chairperson. Ms. Smith was appointed chairperson. Ms. Smith was appointed chairperson. Your T-shirt will dry soon. Your T-shirt will dry soon. Your T-shirt will dry soon. The milk has turned sour. The milk has turned sour. The milk has turned sour. She abandoned herself to grief. She abandoned herself to grief. She abandoned herself to grief. Let's get it over with. Let's get it over with. Let's get it over with. She got what he said. She got what he said. She got what he said. He read this book yesterday. He read this book yesterday. He read this book yesterday. Fortunately, the weather was good. Fortunately, the weather was good. Fortunately, the weather was good. We cannot work too hard. We cannot work too hard. We cannot work too hard. Tom was dismissed without notice. Tom was dismissed without notice. Tom was dismissed without notice. I feel much better today. I feel much better today. I feel much better today. He is about my size. He is about my size. He is about my size. It seems out of order. It seems out of order. It seems out of order. She's a very strange person. She's a very strange person. She's a very strange person. I want to age gracefully. I want to age gracefully. I want to age gracefully. You'll come to like her. You'll come to like her. You'll come to like her. These figures don't add up. These figures don't add up. These figures don't add up. They will keep their promise. They will keep their promise. They will keep their promise. Do you have a vacancy? Do you have a vacancy? Do you have a vacancy? He earns a great deal. He earns a great deal. He earns a great deal. What is he up to? What is he up to? What is he up to? How come you are here? How come you are here? How come you are here? My computer was down yesterday. My computer was down yesterday. My computer was down yesterday. How long is the bridge? How long is the bridge? How long is the bridge? He haunted the art galleries. He haunted the art galleries. He haunted the art galleries. The bird spread its wings. The bird spread its wings. The bird spread its wings. She is liked by everyone. She is liked by everyone. She is liked by everyone. He was among those chosen. He was among those chosen. He was among those chosen. Tall trees catch much wind. Tall trees catch much wind. Tall trees catch much wind. He is a tough customer. He is a tough customer. He is a tough customer. This car handles very easily. This car handles very easily. This car handles very easily. He plays golf on weekends. He plays golf on weekends. He plays golf on weekends. Hunger is the best sauce. Hunger is the best sauce. Hunger is the best sauce. I'm suffering from chronic constipation. I'm suffering from chronic constipation. I'm suffering from chronic constipation. He gets a good salary. He gets a good salary. He gets a good salary. Let me fix the switch. Let me fix the switch. Let me fix the switch. I can't stand her jealousy. I can't stand her jealousy. I can't stand her jealousy. They are in comfortable circumstance. They are in comfortable circumstance. They are in comfortable circumstance. It's quite an informal meeting. It's quite an informal meeting. It's quite an informal meeting. Remember to lock the door. Remember to lock the door. Remember to lock the door. This is an actual happening. This is an actual happening. This is an actual happening. We have no school today. We have no school today. We have no school today. I was making a cake. I was making a cake. I was making a cake. We sang in loud voices. We sang in loud voices. We sang in loud voices. We like to look feminine. We like to look feminine. We like to look feminine. His aunt has 3 cats. His aunt has 3 cats. His aunt has 3 cats. Smoking is a bad habit. Smoking is a bad habit. Smoking is a bad habit. He acted on the stage. He acted on the stage. He acted on the stage. It's pretty hot this morning. It's pretty hot this morning. It's pretty hot this morning. He must have been ill. He must have been ill. He must have been ill. I chanced talking to her. I chanced talking to her. I chanced talking to her. I can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you. He was hounded into quitting. He was hounded into quitting. He was hounded into quitting. She asked me a question. She asked me a question. She asked me a question. 7 is a lucky number. 7 is a lucky number. 7 is a lucky number. The house is under repairs. The house is under repairs. The house is under repairs. I was born in Tokyo. I was born in Tokyo. I was born in Tokyo. Do you need any food? Do you need any food? Do you need any food? Discretion is proper to judges. Discretion is proper to judges. Discretion is proper to judges. This movie is worth seeing. This movie is worth seeing. This movie is worth seeing. I've been in Sapporo before. I've been in Sapporo before. I've been in Sapporo before. I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to live. Carry on with your work. Carry on with your work. Carry on with your work. Submit your homework on Monday. Submit your homework on Monday. Submit your homework on Monday. I don't like this hat. I don't like this hat. I don't like this hat. The computer's color is red. The computer's color is red. The computer's color is red. I would like this book. I would like this book. I would like this book. You shouldn't trust that man. You shouldn't trust that man. You shouldn't trust that man. The news confirmed my suspicions. The news confirmed my suspicions. The news confirmed my suspicions. We all have missed you. We all have missed you. We all have missed you. She's got a Turkish boyfriend. She's got a Turkish boyfriend. She's got a Turkish boyfriend. Don't leave your things behind. Don't leave your things behind. Don't leave your things behind. She stands in great danger. She stands in great danger. She stands in great danger. My uncle deals in fish. My uncle deals in fish. My uncle deals in fish. The job is half done. The job is half done. The job is half done. Her story excited our pity. Her story excited our pity. Her story excited our pity. She is certainly above 40. She is certainly above 40. She is certainly above 40. She bought 2 dozen eggs. She bought 2 dozen eggs. She bought 2 dozen eggs. Bring me something to eat. Bring me something to eat. Bring me something to eat. A stranger phoned me yesterday. A stranger phoned me yesterday. A stranger phoned me yesterday. I eat in the classroom. I eat in the classroom. I eat in the classroom. I want a new oven. I want a new oven. I want a new oven. He is a good loser. He is a good loser. He is a good loser. He does know the fact. He does know the fact. He does know the fact. Who is in this room? Who is in this room? Who is in this room? My wife is a doctor. My wife is a doctor. My wife is a doctor. He has already gone out. He has already gone out. He has already gone out. Tell me, I'm all ears. Tell me, I'm all ears. Tell me, I'm all ears. This letter is wrongly addressed. This letter is wrongly addressed. This letter is wrongly addressed. She turned down the radio. She turned down the radio. She turned down the radio. It was chilly that day. It was chilly that day. It was chilly that day. We were supplied with uniforms. We were supplied with uniforms. We were supplied with uniforms. Bring me the newspaper, please. Bring me the newspaper, please. Bring me the newspaper, please. They are 5 in all. They are 5 in all. They are 5 in all. I've run out of money. I've run out of money. I've run out of money. A good idea struck me. A good idea struck me. A good idea struck me. I look up to you. I look up to you. I look up to you. Look at the setting sun. Look at the setting sun. Look at the setting sun. She stayed here by herself. She stayed here by herself. She stayed here by herself. He speaks English very well. He speaks English very well. He speaks English very well. Watanabe is my family name. Watanabe is my family name. Watanabe is my family name. He cried out in pain. He cried out in pain. He cried out in pain. Kate came home by bus. Kate came home by bus. Kate came home by bus. The hill overlooked the sea. The hill overlooked the sea. The hill overlooked the sea. Have you eaten lunch yet? Have you eaten lunch yet? Have you eaten lunch yet? I'll call you back soon. I'll call you back soon. I'll call you back soon. She works in a bank. She works in a bank. She works in a bank. Who left the door open? Who left the door open? Who left the door open? Can I use your typewriter? Can I use your typewriter? Can I use your typewriter? How would you define happiness? How would you define happiness? How would you define happiness? All the seats are booked. All the seats are booked. All the seats are booked. She has a fair complexion. She has a fair complexion. She has a fair complexion. You need not have hurried. You need not have hurried. You need not have hurried. At last they were reconciled. At last they were reconciled. At last they were reconciled. Give me the same, please. Give me the same, please. Give me the same, please. Talking is a human ability. Talking is a human ability. Talking is a human ability. The stadium was quite still. The stadium was quite still. The stadium was quite still. He didn't catch the signal. He didn't catch the signal. He didn't catch the signal. Japan is full of surprises. Japan is full of surprises. Japan is full of surprises. I met him just now. I met him just now. I met him just now. He may have already departed. He may have already departed. He may have already departed. They have their own troubles. They have their own troubles. They have their own troubles. Lay it on the table. Lay it on the table. Lay it on the table. I have nothing to declare. I have nothing to declare. I have nothing to declare. They started all at once. They started all at once. They started all at once. This conversation is a masterpiece. This conversation is a masterpiece. This conversation is a masterpiece. His room was in disorder. His room was in disorder. His room was in disorder. Are you engaged for tomorrow? Are you engaged for tomorrow? Are you engaged for tomorrow? He went to the dentist. He went to the dentist. He went to the dentist. Her voice trembled with rage. Her voice trembled with rage. Her voice trembled with rage. Are you meeting someone here? Are you meeting someone here? Are you meeting someone here? It rained continuously all day. It rained continuously all day. It rained continuously all day. She is in the wrong. She is in the wrong. She is in the wrong. This sentence is grammatically correct. This sentence is grammatically correct. This sentence is grammatically correct. How clever this dog is. How clever this dog is. How clever this dog is. It is just your imagination. It is just your imagination. It is just your imagination. Do you take in students? Do you take in students? Do you take in students? We swam in the lake. We swam in the lake. We swam in the lake. I could not get out. I could not get out. I could not get out. Kelly carries the news department. Kelly carries the news department. Kelly carries the news department. He died 3 days after. He died 3 days after. He died 3 days after. It's a very quiet room. It's a very quiet room. It's a very quiet room. Of all the silly ideas. Of all the silly ideas. Of all the silly ideas. I've lost my religious faith. I've lost my religious faith. I've lost my religious faith. Your conclusion is highly arguable. Your conclusion is highly arguable. Your conclusion is highly arguable. Turn off the light, please. Turn off the light, please. Turn off the light, please. Bring your brother with you. Bring your brother with you. Bring your brother with you. Look at that high mountain. Look at that high mountain. Look at that high mountain. You should eat more fruit. You should eat more fruit. You should eat more fruit. Could we have a fork? Could we have a fork? Could we have a fork? I remember meeting her somewhere. I remember meeting her somewhere. I remember meeting her somewhere. Keep up an old custom. Keep up an old custom. Keep up an old custom. He longed for his mother. He longed for his mother. He longed for his mother. The following is his story. The following is his story. The following is his story. John did a brave thing. John did a brave thing. John did a brave thing. Please go to the bank. Please go to the bank. Please go to the bank. This rule reads several ways. This rule reads several ways. This rule reads several ways. I don't read newspapers much. I don't read newspapers much. I don't read newspapers much. Do you know about Singapore? Do you know about Singapore? Do you know about Singapore? The western sky glows crimson. The western sky glows crimson. The western sky glows crimson. I am 16 years old. I am 16 years old. I am 16 years old. His speech got awfully boring. His speech got awfully boring. His speech got awfully boring. I had a great night. I had a great night. I had a great night. There is a knife missing. There is a knife missing. There is a knife missing. Either way's fine with me. Either way's fine with me. Either way's fine with me. How did you like it? How did you like it? How did you like it? It pays to be polite. It pays to be polite. It pays to be polite. Fish abound in this lake. Fish abound in this lake. Fish abound in this lake. They seem to go together. They seem to go together. They seem to go together. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Your prophecy has come true. Your prophecy has come true. Your prophecy has come true. He is liked by Ellen. He is liked by Ellen. He is liked by Ellen. I am off duty tomorrow. I am off duty tomorrow. I am off duty tomorrow. Call me at the office. Call me at the office. Call me at the office. Mathematics is an interesting subject. Mathematics is an interesting subject. Mathematics is an interesting subject. I can't see the movie. I can't see the movie. I can't see the movie. His efforts come to nothing. His efforts come to nothing. His efforts come to nothing. They are about to start. They are about to start. They are about to start. It's healthy to breathe deeply. It's healthy to breathe deeply. It's healthy to breathe deeply. He is very busy now. He is very busy now. He is very busy now. He made up the story. He made up the story. He made up the story. We are moving next month. We are moving next month. We are moving next month. I found the book easy. I found the book easy. I found the book easy. He is not all there. He is not all there. He is not all there. She had white shoes on. She had white shoes on. She had white shoes on. Get out of my life. Get out of my life. Get out of my life. I'm playing a TV game. I'm playing a TV game. I'm playing a TV game. He ran out of money. He ran out of money. He ran out of money. I take exercise for health. I take exercise for health. I take exercise for health. There was nothing left over. There was nothing left over. There was nothing left over. I like you very much. I like you very much. I like you very much. Could I make a reservation? Could I make a reservation? Could I make a reservation? He is slow of foot. He is slow of foot. He is slow of foot. He hit an easy fly. He hit an easy fly. He hit an easy fly. I spent all the money. I spent all the money. I spent all the money. Everybody has their favorite drink. Everybody has their favorite drink. Everybody has their favorite drink. Everybody put their foot down. Everybody put their foot down. Everybody put their foot down. That student is very active. That student is very active. That student is very active. My grandfather keeps early hours. My grandfather keeps early hours. My grandfather keeps early hours. I've just finished my work. I've just finished my work. I've just finished my work. They strolled along the beach. They strolled along the beach. They strolled along the beach. How high can you jump? How high can you jump? How high can you jump? He grieved over his failures. He grieved over his failures. He grieved over his failures. The popularity turned her head. The popularity turned her head. The popularity turned her head. Alice wears a sweet perfume. Alice wears a sweet perfume. Alice wears a sweet perfume. I drank beer last night. I drank beer last night. I drank beer last night. Above all, beware of pickpockets. Above all, beware of pickpockets. Above all, beware of pickpockets. The wind filled the sails. The wind filled the sails. The wind filled the sails. The policeman got the suspect. The policeman got the suspect. The policeman got the suspect. An island came in sight. An island came in sight. An island came in sight. Mom did not mention it. Mom did not mention it. Mom did not mention it. Please write about your home. Please write about your home. Please write about your home. He finished school in March. He finished school in March. He finished school in March. Democracy originated in ancient Greece. Democracy originated in ancient Greece. Democracy originated in ancient Greece. He is in the money. He is in the money. He is in the money. He avoids all troublesome tasks. He avoids all troublesome tasks. He avoids all troublesome tasks. He has no common sense. He has no common sense. He has no common sense. She is not always happy. She is not always happy. She is not always happy. You have a good memory. You have a good memory. You have a good memory. I had an enlarged prostate. I had an enlarged prostate. I had an enlarged prostate. I felt myself lifted up. I felt myself lifted up. I felt myself lifted up. The river is very low. The river is very low. The river is very low. He's no judge of music. He's no judge of music. He's no judge of music. He gave up going abroad. He gave up going abroad. He gave up going abroad. This watch keeps correct time. This watch keeps correct time. This watch keeps correct time. Don't leave the door open. Don't leave the door open. Don't leave the door open. Who cares about bad manners? Who cares about bad manners? Who cares about bad manners? We should reform this law. We should reform this law. We should reform this law. The issue divided the senators. The issue divided the senators. The issue divided the senators. No, I've never been there. No, I've never been there. No, I've never been there. He seems to think so. He seems to think so. He seems to think so. The good weather will hold. The good weather will hold. The good weather will hold. We spoke about many subjects. We spoke about many subjects. We spoke about many subjects. Don't confuse Austria with Australia. Don't confuse Austria with Australia. Don't confuse Austria with Australia. She wasn't a bit impatient. She wasn't a bit impatient. She wasn't a bit impatient. What do those lights signify? What do those lights signify? What do those lights signify? What results do you anticipate? What results do you anticipate? What results do you anticipate? He is a good athlete. He is a good athlete. He is a good athlete. Change buses at that stop. Change buses at that stop. Change buses at that stop. Please help me with this. Please help me with this. Please help me with this. This action makes me grumble. This action makes me grumble. This action makes me grumble. Somebody took away my bag. Somebody took away my bag. Somebody took away my bag. There was no one about. There was no one about. There was no one about. He solved all the problems. He solved all the problems. He solved all the problems. The dog knew its master. The dog knew its master. The dog knew its master. May I play the piano? May I play the piano? May I play the piano? My father has many books. My father has many books. My father has many books. That novel isn't for children. That novel isn't for children. That novel isn't for children. You must face the facts. You must face the facts. You must face the facts. Everything is well with us. Everything is well with us. Everything is well with us. We made him our guide. We made him our guide. We made him our guide. I heard my name called. I heard my name called. I heard my name called. I've been on sick leave. I've been on sick leave. I've been on sick leave. His story turned out true. His story turned out true. His story turned out true. We stopped working at noon. We stopped working at noon. We stopped working at noon. He lived a hard life. He lived a hard life. He lived a hard life. Would anyone like a transfer? Would anyone like a transfer? Would anyone like a transfer? A tall building stands there. A tall building stands there. A tall building stands there. Nobody will believe that rumor. Nobody will believe that rumor. Nobody will believe that rumor. The horse's flanks are hurt. The horse's flanks are hurt. The horse's flanks are hurt. She leaned against his shoulder. She leaned against his shoulder. She leaned against his shoulder. She hasn't come here yet. She hasn't come here yet. She hasn't come here yet. He prefers football to baseball. He prefers football to baseball. He prefers football to baseball. He made many costly purchases. He made many costly purchases. He made many costly purchases. She went out just now. She went out just now. She went out just now. Scores of people visited Japan. Scores of people visited Japan. Scores of people visited Japan. She didn't have much money. She didn't have much money. She didn't have much money. She's asking how that's possible. She's asking how that's possible. She's asking how that's possible. They said out last night. They said out last night. They said out last night. He walked back and forth. He walked back and forth. He walked back and forth. This road leads you there. This road leads you there. This road leads you there. His overcoat is worn out. His overcoat is worn out. His overcoat is worn out. I took the 61 bus. I took the 61 bus. I took the 61 bus. Your conduct is absolutely shameful. Your conduct is absolutely shameful. Your conduct is absolutely shameful. It really depends on when. It really depends on when. It really depends on when. Open your eyes to reality. Open your eyes to reality. Open your eyes to reality. We have no school tomorrow. We have no school tomorrow. We have no school tomorrow. Show me what you bought. Show me what you bought. Show me what you bought. He is fond of adventure. He is fond of adventure. He is fond of adventure. She is proficient in French. She is proficient in French. She is proficient in French. No, please dial 9 first. No, please dial 9 first. No, please dial 9 first. You shall have this money. You shall have this money. You shall have this money. My body cried for sleep. My body cried for sleep. My body cried for sleep. It's very cold this winter. It's very cold this winter. It's very cold this winter. The girl brushed past me. The girl brushed past me. The girl brushed past me. A water shortage causes inconvenience. A water shortage causes inconvenience. A water shortage causes inconvenience. Can the rumor be true? Can the rumor be true? Can the rumor be true? What else do you want? What else do you want? What else do you want? He cut a brilliant figure. He cut a brilliant figure. He cut a brilliant figure. He felt lost and uncomfortable. He felt lost and uncomfortable. He felt lost and uncomfortable. I'll call you back later. I'll call you back later. I'll call you back later. I am seldom at leisure. I am seldom at leisure. I am seldom at leisure. We must respect individual liberty. We must respect individual liberty. We must respect individual liberty. We bound her to secrecy. We bound her to secrecy. We bound her to secrecy. I'd like a chilled one. I'd like a chilled one. I'd like a chilled one. He lives in a flat. He lives in a flat. He lives in a flat. Could I have a transfer? Could I have a transfer? Could I have a transfer? Have you finished it already? Have you finished it already? Have you finished it already? Take heed of her advice. Take heed of her advice. Take heed of her advice. What's become of your dog? What's become of your dog? What's become of your dog? Would you mind standing aside? Would you mind standing aside? Would you mind standing aside? Towns are very crowded today. Towns are very crowded today. Towns are very crowded today. Do not touch the exhibits. Do not touch the exhibits. Do not touch the exhibits. You must perform your duty. You must perform your duty. You must perform your duty. He didn't attend the meeting. He didn't attend the meeting. He didn't attend the meeting. Is it really the case? Is it really the case? Is it really the case? I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. His house was on fire. His house was on fire. His house was on fire. My hobby is taking pictures. My hobby is taking pictures. My hobby is taking pictures. How old is that dog? How old is that dog? How old is that dog? He was charged with speeding. He was charged with speeding. He was charged with speeding. I regretted having done it. I regretted having done it. I regretted having done it. 5 is less than 8. 5 is less than 8. 5 is less than 8. That girl looks very pretty. That girl looks very pretty. That girl looks very pretty. The supply-demand balance is tight. The supply-demand balance is tight. The supply-demand balance is tight. You must not behave so. You must not behave so. You must not behave so. Who will try this case? Who will try this case? Who will try this case? I'm seeing her this evening. I'm seeing her this evening. I'm seeing her this evening. She's always worrying about trifles. She's always worrying about trifles. She's always worrying about trifles. Thank you for the shipment. Thank you for the shipment. Thank you for the shipment. The twins look exactly alike. The twins look exactly alike. The twins look exactly alike. This room has air conditioning. This room has air conditioning. This room has air conditioning. The train left on time. The train left on time. The train left on time. You are too much letter bound. You are too much letter bound. You are too much letter bound. His statement runs as follows. His statement runs as follows. His statement runs as follows. The train got into London. The train got into London. The train got into London. He ran through my manuscript. He ran through my manuscript. He ran through my manuscript. There are isolated rain showers. There are isolated rain showers. There are isolated rain showers. Where do you come from? Where do you come from? Where do you come from? He went on doing it. He went on doing it. He went on doing it. Some plants perish in winter. Some plants perish in winter. Some plants perish in winter. They looked at each other. They looked at each other. They looked at each other. Water is indispensable to plants. Water is indispensable to plants. Water is indispensable to plants. They are deeply in love. They are deeply in love. They are deeply in love. He still has 3 servants. He still has 3 servants. He still has 3 servants. The door will not open. The door will not open. The door will not open. The TV was turned on. The TV was turned on. The TV was turned on. You must face the facts. You must face the facts. You must face the facts. I want this letter registered. I want this letter registered. I want this letter registered. It's a very delicate question. It's a very delicate question. It's a very delicate question. He will come down soon. He will come down soon. He will come down soon. What are you working for? What are you working for? What are you working for? I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I don't have any money. You wash the dishes, Ben. You wash the dishes, Ben. You wash the dishes, Ben. The audience exploded with laughter. The audience exploded with laughter. The audience exploded with laughter. Stop beating on the door. Stop beating on the door. Stop beating on the door. We find comfort in traveling. We find comfort in traveling. We find comfort in traveling. She received a doctor's degree. She received a doctor's degree. She received a doctor's degree. We've already done our work. We've already done our work. We've already done our work. She has plenty of books. She has plenty of books. She has plenty of books. Courage is required of everyone. Courage is required of everyone. Courage is required of everyone. We go camping every summer. We go camping every summer. We go camping every summer. I got the short straw. I got the short straw. I got the short straw. The jet roared during takeoff. The jet roared during takeoff. The jet roared during takeoff. He met an unexpected obstacle. He met an unexpected obstacle. He met an unexpected obstacle. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Fortunately, no one was hurt. He puts aside some gas. He puts aside some gas. He puts aside some gas. Children belong with their parents. Children belong with their parents. Children belong with their parents. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. My film has run out. My film has run out. My film has run out. He stopped reading the newspaper. He stopped reading the newspaper. He stopped reading the newspaper. He came into the room. He came into the room. He came into the room. She hasn't turned up yet. She hasn't turned up yet. She hasn't turned up yet. We must help him immediately. We must help him immediately. We must help him immediately. He asked me a question. He asked me a question. He asked me a question. He landed a big trout. He landed a big trout. He landed a big trout. The bell rings at noon. The bell rings at noon. The bell rings at noon. Don't open this door, please. Don't open this door, please. Don't open this door, please. I'll visit Mr. Brown tomorrow. I'll visit Mr. Brown tomorrow. I'll visit Mr. Brown tomorrow. This is the last time. This is the last time. This is the last time. This transparent liquid contains poison. This transparent liquid contains poison. This transparent liquid contains poison. We lost the game 3-2. We lost the game 3-2. We lost the game 3-2. There's no turning back now. There's no turning back now. There's no turning back now. You must feed the machine. You must feed the machine. You must feed the machine. Have you been to London? Have you been to London? Have you been to London? Tony did not feel poor. Tony did not feel poor. Tony did not feel poor. This handle will not turn. This handle will not turn. This handle will not turn. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the information. Nobody would listen to me. Nobody would listen to me. Nobody would listen to me. He cried out in pain. He cried out in pain. He cried out in pain. He is quick to learn. He is quick to learn. He is quick to learn. She was not seriously injured. She was not seriously injured. She was not seriously injured. They asked after my father. They asked after my father. They asked after my father. I must help these people. I must help these people. I must help these people. I want to go abroad. I want to go abroad. I want to go abroad. What are you up to? What are you up to? What are you up to? This lion is very tame. This lion is very tame. This lion is very tame. I slept comfortably last night. I slept comfortably last night. I slept comfortably last night. Mary has already set off. Mary has already set off. Mary has already set off. I bought a new car. I bought a new car. I bought a new car. Thank you. Please stop here. Thank you. Please stop here. Thank you. Please stop here. The loan carries 5.5% interest. The loan carries 5.5% interest. The loan carries 5.5% interest. She is a bad speaker. She is a bad speaker. She is a bad speaker. My mother hates writing letters. My mother hates writing letters. My mother hates writing letters. Can I have this orange? Can I have this orange? Can I have this orange? Mary has a social nature. Mary has a social nature. Mary has a social nature. You should consult the dictionary. You should consult the dictionary. You should consult the dictionary. He did it for fun. He did it for fun. He did it for fun. I agreed to the proposal. I agreed to the proposal. I agreed to the proposal. He was critical of me. He was critical of me. He was critical of me. We agreed to the plan. We agreed to the plan. We agreed to the plan. I do everything for myself. I do everything for myself. I do everything for myself. The bus hasn't come yet. The bus hasn't come yet. The bus hasn't come yet. His speech turned us off. His speech turned us off. His speech turned us off. Translate this book into English. Translate this book into English. Translate this book into English. Marriage is a serious matter. Marriage is a serious matter. Marriage is a serious matter. Everybody regards him as honest. Everybody regards him as honest. Everybody regards him as honest. This zipper doesn't zip smoothly. This zipper doesn't zip smoothly. This zipper doesn't zip smoothly. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. He can handle English well. He can handle English well. He can handle English well. I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. He started to speak English. He started to speak English. He started to speak English. The clouds are rolling away. The clouds are rolling away. The clouds are rolling away. He is absorbed in music. He is absorbed in music. He is absorbed in music. This cotton shirt washes well. This cotton shirt washes well. This cotton shirt washes well. She glanced through the magazine. She glanced through the magazine. She glanced through the magazine. He advocated abolishing class distinctions. He advocated abolishing class distinctions. He advocated abolishing class distinctions. I am in a stew. I am in a stew. I am in a stew. The judgment was against him. The judgment was against him. The judgment was against him. That is not my line. That is not my line. That is not my line. She started crying. She started crying. She started crying. What a fool I was. What a fool I was. What a fool I was. It's 6 degrees below zero. It's 6 degrees below zero. It's 6 degrees below zero. He has skill in handwork. He has skill in handwork. He has skill in handwork. She got tired with running. She got tired with running. She got tired with running. Betty never said a word. Betty never said a word. Betty never said a word. A strong wind blew yesterday. A strong wind blew yesterday. A strong wind blew yesterday. You ought to be ashamed. You ought to be ashamed. You ought to be ashamed. Where do I return cars? Where do I return cars? Where do I return cars? I could not help laughing. I could not help laughing. I could not help laughing. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't be ashamed of yourself. We have 4 bedrooms upstairs. We have 4 bedrooms upstairs. We have 4 bedrooms upstairs. How tall is your brother? How tall is your brother? How tall is your brother? She remained silent all day. She remained silent all day. She remained silent all day. The answers are both incorrect. The answers are both incorrect. The answers are both incorrect. Science produced the atomic bomb. Science produced the atomic bomb. Science produced the atomic bomb. By good fortune, they escaped. By good fortune, they escaped. By good fortune, they escaped. Mathematics is my favorite subject. Mathematics is my favorite subject. Mathematics is my favorite subject. I can't abide that fellow. I can't abide that fellow. I can't abide that fellow. He began to eat lunch. He began to eat lunch. He began to eat lunch. The loss amounted to $0.00000. The loss amounted to $0.00000. The loss amounted to $0.00000. He's run off 10 pounds. He's run off 10 pounds. He's run off 10 pounds. A baby has delicate skin. A baby has delicate skin. A baby has delicate skin. How about having dinner together? How about having dinner together? How about having dinner together? There's a possibility of war. There's a possibility of war. There's a possibility of war. Which course do you recommend? Which course do you recommend? Which course do you recommend? Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. A dolphin is a mammal. A dolphin is a mammal. A dolphin is a mammal. Another lot of tourists arrived. Another lot of tourists arrived. Another lot of tourists arrived. This flower is very beautiful. This flower is very beautiful. This flower is very beautiful. The policeman carries a whistle. The policeman carries a whistle. The policeman carries a whistle. His new record sells well. His new record sells well. His new record sells well. Come see me again tomorrow. Come see me again tomorrow. Come see me again tomorrow. Don't blame it on her. Don't blame it on her. Don't blame it on her. She was weeping with pain. She was weeping with pain. She was weeping with pain. Has the movie started yet? Has the movie started yet? Has the movie started yet? Mike ran very fast yesterday. Mike ran very fast yesterday. Mike ran very fast yesterday. I feel like eating something. I feel like eating something. I feel like eating something. Columbus discovered America in 1492. Columbus discovered America in 1492. Columbus discovered America in 1492. I raced him a mile. I raced him a mile. I raced him a mile. What exactly does that mean? What exactly does that mean? What exactly does that mean? The new plan worked well. The new plan worked well. The new plan worked well. We saw laborers blasting rocks. We saw laborers blasting rocks. We saw laborers blasting rocks. Cross out the incorrect words. Cross out the incorrect words. Cross out the incorrect words. This is just another day. This is just another day. This is just another day. Miniskirts will soon come back. Miniskirts will soon come back. Miniskirts will soon come back. What did you talk about? What did you talk about? What did you talk about? He has nobody to consult. He has nobody to consult. He has nobody to consult. She is quite a poet. She is quite a poet. She is quite a poet. Are you good at tennis? Are you good at tennis? Are you good at tennis? Do as I told you. Do as I told you. Do as I told you. We have enough food now. We have enough food now. We have enough food now. Friendship consists of mutual understanding. Friendship consists of mutual understanding. Friendship consists of mutual understanding. Cats like fish in particular. Cats like fish in particular. Cats like fish in particular. How do you feel now? How do you feel now? How do you feel now? He is eager to please. He is eager to please. He is eager to please. She wasn't helping her mother. She wasn't helping her mother. She wasn't helping her mother. He laid on his back. He laid on his back. He laid on his back. I have to eat too. I have to eat too. I have to eat too. Will you excuse me? Will you excuse me? Will you excuse me? I called him up yesterday. I called him up yesterday. I called him up yesterday. He is anything but that. He is anything but that. He is anything but that. He is lazy by nature. He is lazy by nature. He is lazy by nature. The baby was fast asleep. The baby was fast asleep. The baby was fast asleep. The thermometer reads 30 degrees. The thermometer reads 30 degrees. The thermometer reads 30 degrees. Don't be cruel to animals. Don't be cruel to animals. Don't be cruel to animals. Please follow the nurse's directions. Please follow the nurse's directions. Please follow the nurse's directions. Employers sometimes exploit their workers. Employers sometimes exploit their workers. Employers sometimes exploit their workers. He has a few friends. He has a few friends. He has a few friends. No, thank you. I'm full. No, thank you. I'm full. No, thank you. I'm full. She had her tooth pulled. She had her tooth pulled. She had her tooth pulled. How boring this game is. How boring this game is. How boring this game is. He was wet all over. He was wet all over. He was wet all over. Please do it this way. Please do it this way. Please do it this way. Please say it once more. Please say it once more. Please say it once more. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. It is another story now. It is another story now. It is another story now. Nothing can come of nothing. Nothing can come of nothing. Nothing can come of nothing. I really dig that singer. I really dig that singer. I really dig that singer. Hunger is the best sauce. Hunger is the best sauce. Hunger is the best sauce. Is he reading a book? Is he reading a book? Is he reading a book? Don't pick up the cat. Don't pick up the cat. Don't pick up the cat. I wasn't counting on that. I wasn't counting on that. I wasn't counting on that. I had my wallet stolen. I had my wallet stolen. I had my wallet stolen. Miss Green taught me English. Miss Green taught me English. Miss Green taught me English. John answered for his sister. John answered for his sister. John answered for his sister. The sisters are both blondes. The sisters are both blondes. The sisters are both blondes. Taro asked after her father. Taro asked after her father. Taro asked after her father. Will it rain this afternoon? Will it rain this afternoon? Will it rain this afternoon? Computers are of great use. Computers are of great use. Computers are of great use. This car is my father's. This car is my father's. This car is my father's. I finished writing the letter. I finished writing the letter. I've finished writing the letter. That is my sister's camera. That is my sister's camera. That is my sister's camera. How was this cake made? How was this cake made? How was this cake made? The plane is now operational. The plane is now operational. The plane is now operational. I can't understand his psychology. I can't understand his psychology. I can't understand his psychology. His effort will bear fruit. His effort will bear fruit. His effort will bear fruit. He likes to read books. He likes to read books. He likes to read books. His voice quavered with anger. His voice quavered with anger. His voice quavered with anger. We study English every day. We study English every day. We study English every day. I can't eat anymore. I can't eat anymore. I can't eat anymore. Take care not to fail. Take care not to fail. Take care not to fail. He deeply deplored the situation. He deeply deplored the situation. He deeply deplored the situation. Lie on your right side. Lie on your right side. Lie on your right side. It rained heavily all day. It rained heavily all day. It rained heavily all day. Do you care for sweets? Do you care for sweets? Do you care for sweets? She is a pretty girl. She is a pretty girl. She is a pretty girl. My daughter is a tomboy. My daughter is a tomboy. My daughter is a tomboy. He's somewhere about the park. He's somewhere about the park. He's somewhere about the park. The audience were all foreigners. The audience were all foreigners. The audience were all foreigners. How about 00 for 3? How about 00 for 3? How about 00 for 3? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? The dress is newly designed. The dress is newly designed. The dress is newly designed. The earthquake shook the ground. The earthquake shook the ground. The earthquake shook the ground. Bill can ride a bicycle. Bill can ride a bicycle. Bill can ride a bicycle. Do you like Japanese food? Do you like Japanese food? Do you like Japanese food? We all wish for happiness. We all wish for happiness. We all wish for happiness. This metal is called zinc. This metal is called zinc. This metal is called zinc. I think he did it. I think he did it. I think he did it. He can't have heard you. He can't have heard you. He can't have heard you. She is on a diet. She is on a diet. She is on a diet. 1 lump of sugar, please. 1 lump of sugar, please. 1 lump of sugar, please. Could you solve the problem? Could you solve the problem? Could you solve the problem? Don't be cruel to animals. Don't be cruel to animals. Don't be cruel to animals. Have you called her yet? Have you called her yet? Have you called her yet? She explained it over again. She explained it over again. She explained it over again. I would see Mr. White. I would see Mr. White. I would see Mr. White. You're wrong in this case. You're wrong in this case. You're wrong in this case. Are they coming as well? Are they coming as well? Are they coming as well? He didn't dare say anything. He didn't dare say anything. He didn't dare say anything. I cannot support your conduct. I cannot support your conduct. I cannot support your conduct. Didn't you read the book? Didn't you read the book? Didn't you read the book? This coffee is too bitter. This coffee is too bitter. This coffee is too bitter. Don't risk insulting your boss. Don't risk insulting your boss. Don't risk insulting your boss. I've never been to Paris. I've never been to Paris. I've never been to Paris. She's as busy as Tom. She's as busy as Tom. She's as busy as Tom. You're going to a movie? You're going to a movie. You're going to a movie. We borrowed at 5% interest. We borrowed at 5% interest. We borrowed at 5% interest. The lake is deepest here. The lake is deepest here. The lake is deepest here. I had my bicycle stolen. I had my bicycle stolen. I had my bicycle stolen. What is the book about? What is the book about? What is the book about? I found the button loose. I found the button loose. I found the button loose. Please answer all the questions. Please answer all the questions. Please answer all the questions. She is hungry for affection. She is hungry for affection. She is hungry for affection. The food disagreed with him. The food disagreed with him. The food disagreed with him. Give me a coffee, please. Give me a coffee, please. Give me a coffee, please. It's enough for 5 days. It's enough for 5 days. It's enough for 5 days. You alone can do this. You alone can do this. You alone can do this. The popular singer committed suicide. The popular singer committed suicide. The popular singer committed suicide. We all agree with you. We all agree with you. We all agree with you. Localities imposed bans on development. Localities imposed bans on development. Localities imposed bans on development. She was unkind to him. She was unkind to him. She was unkind to him. No one can say that. No one can say that. No one can say that. She adorned herself with jewels. She adorned herself with jewels. She adorned herself with jewels. I envy your good health. I envy your good health. I envy your good health. He had his tooth pulled. He had his tooth pulled. He had his tooth pulled. He haunts the lowest resorts. He haunts the lowest resorts. He haunts the lowest resorts. He left home at 8 o'clock. He left home at 8 o'clock. He left home at 8 o'clock. When can I visit you? When can I visit you? When can I visit you? They grow oranges in California. They grow oranges in California. They grow oranges in California. I can't recollect his explanation. I can't recollect his explanation. I can't recollect his explanation. How late are you open? How late are you open? How late are you open? She looks like her mother. She looks like her mother. She looks like her mother. Do you know Mr. Takahashi? Do you know Mr. Takahashi? Do you know Mr. Takahashi? I've got to go now. I've got to go now. I've got to go now. He's in bed with flu. He's in bed with flu. He's in bed with flu. We are to preserve nature. We are to preserve nature. We are to preserve nature. That man has one box. That man has one box. That man has one box. This is an automatic door. This is an automatic door. This is an automatic door. Let's take a short break. Let's take a short break. Let's take a short break. She has a gentle disposition. She has a gentle disposition. She has a gentle disposition. We climbed the steep slope. We climbed the steep slope. We climbed the steep slope. My TV has broken down. My TV has broken down. My TV has broken down. He is a thoroughgoing egoist. He is a thoroughgoing egoist. He is a thoroughgoing egoist. It's very hot, isn't it? It's very hot, isn't it? It's very hot, isn't it?